It turns out the affordable new car isn't dead. Behind me, you'll find a 2026 Nissan Sentra, one of the last of a dying breed. Here we have in front of us an SR trim version of the new Sentra, and this is a great opportunity to look at the first thing that you'll notice about this car that is new, and at a glance you can see the exterior has been changed quite dramatically. It still has a very similar silhouette and overall shape and proportion, but a lot of the details have been changed tons, including the headlight and the grille. On this SR trim, the whole grille is blacked out, which gives a lot of contrast to this very beautiful bright orange exterior color they've chosen for this display unit. The headlights are very sharp and very modern, so they've definitely brought the Sentra design forward to look more in line with the rest of Nissan's lineup. And this being the SR trim and being a little bit sportier, you'll also find an 18-inch wheel in black with a little bit of contrast. And contrast is the key as we look along the entire exterior of the car. Because at the bottom of the doors on the sill, you'll find some extra black trim, some black painted mirrors, and the car itself is two-tone with a black roof, a lip spoiler, also finished in black, and an actual exposed exhaust tip. That's a rarity in the auto industry today, which is crazy to say, but this one is finished bright, it's polished, and it contrasts from the black bodywork at the bottom of the car here. So you actually notice it looks really great. All right, hitting the streets in the new Nissan Sentra. There are a lot of things about this car that are the same as they used to be. It's the same basic platform, same powertrain. They have made some tweaks, so it's a slightly more rigid structure to the car. They've tweaked a little bit of the tuning here on the CVT. But again, same 149 horsepower, 146 pound-feet of torque, and it is a CVT. So if you're looking at this car and maybe this SR trim as a sporty, spirited driving kind of vehicle, then that's going to be limited a little bit by the powertrain and by the transmission, especially. For the most part, when you're driving around at regular speeds, stoplight to stoplight, doing your commute, it's very quiet, it's very easy. It's very relaxing to drive, and you don't necessarily notice the CVT a whole lot. You notice it the most when you get hard on the throttle. So if I get into the loud pedal a little bit right now, you hear that obviously you're working with a CVT, and you let off and it has a little bit of that rubber band feel that you expect generally with a CVT. So yeah, it's not the most thrilling car on the planet to drive. But if what you're looking for is something that's compliant, it's easy, it's just a good daily driver, then this ticks all of those boxes. And realistically, that's what the majority of Sentra buyers are going to be looking for. Here we have a look at the interior of this SR trim Sentra, and everything is blacked out, which makes sense for a more sporty trim level. So there's not tons of contrast, but got some colors in the stitching here, a little bit of ambient lighting, so you do bring in some other elements of color and interest into the interior. Some of that stitching right here on the shifter, and I love the fact that they've given us a very traditional shifter. This is fantastic to see, because this is another thing that's going away in a lot of cars, especially ones that are more affordable. We've got some dedicated switch gear here for your modes, your auto stop start, auto hold, and your parking brake. Your start button right there in front of the shifter, and then dedicated switches for the climate. Now, these are not actual physical buttons. It is just a touch-sensitive panel, but those switches are not integrated into the screen like they are in a lot of modern cars, so I like that they're dedicated to the climate and the climate only. We have a few shortcuts for the screen here. Our skip track, volume, power. You've also got a shortcut for your camera views, which is great because higher trim level Sentras give you a 360 cam in addition to the standard backup camera, which is really nice and decently high definition. And of course, Nissan has on display primarily a lot of their higher trimmed out cars to show off some of the features that you can get, which means we've got a 12.3 inch cluster here in front of the driver, in addition to the 12.3 inch standard screen that comes in the center. So very big screens and nice technology for a car in this segment. The steering wheel also gives you real physical controls. So these are not touch sensitive controls, which is great on your steering wheel. That way, if you brush across it with your hand, you're not accidentally going to hit a button that you didn't intend to. And the steering wheel itself has a really cool design. It's boxy here around the airbag, so it looks modern like the exterior of the car, and the touch points feel really nice. If you search around, you will find some harder plastics that don't feel as high quality as some of the touch points on the car, but I will give them credit. A lot of the touch points they've done a good job with. This plastic at the top of the door is a little bit softer, so comfortable to rest your arm on. The door handle feels nice, the steering wheel feels nice. So the things that you interact with most often feel good, and you would expect some cheaper materials on other parts like the lower dash and parts of the door card, because they're going to have to cut costs somewhere. The Sentra SR has seats with a little bit of red trim that says SR, as well as this perforation with a little bit of color in it as well. And these are nice, plush, comfortable seats. You'll see above we have a sunroof, not a very big one, definitely not a panoramic sunroof, but a sunroof nonetheless. One of the most important things about the Sentra is going to be value, because that's always been one of the main reasons that people are going to go for a Sentra in the first place. And pricing starts at $22,400. That's for the S model. However, I would recommend that you at least go for the SV model. That's $23,170, so about $800 more expensive, but it gets you a lot more features. The SV model gets you this bigger 12.3-inch driver display. It gets you their intelligent key, it gets you alloy wheels, wireless, Apple CarPlay, automatic climate control. Those are a lot of welcome features for not that much extra. If you do want the sportier looking SR trim, that's gonna start at $25,000. but it comes with some extra nice features as standard, and then the top of the line SL is $27,990. All of those trims have a $1,245 destination charge on top of that, and there's a few extra packages that you can add to the cars if you want heated seats and a heated steering wheel, if you want a sunroof on certain models. So it depends exactly how you're speccing the cars. They can get a little bit more expensive, but there's really not tons of options. And that's how the trims are all lined up. So each of the 4 trim levels all start below $30,000. Fairly recently, the average out the door price for a new car just tipped over $50,000. The average MSRP of a brand new car, though, is around $52,000. So in this day and age, this is a pretty affordable car. Opening the trunk of the Sentra, you'll find actually a pretty sizable space with a pull tab to fold down the seats as well. So if you're interested in hauling around some bigger items, that won't be an issue in the car, but popping up the cover, you won't find a spare tire. And that brings me to today's sponsor, Modern Spare, because ultimately, even though a lot of modern cars don't come with spare tires, they're still extremely important things to have. And anytime, especially we're going on a longer road trip, we love to have spare tires with us. If you go to Modern Spare, you can find a spare tire with the jack, with the tools you need, and everything in an inclusive kit, spec'd specifically for your car. They're very well engineered, designed to even go long distances if you have to. And if you check out their website, even if you don't see a spare listed for your car, you can give them a call and find out what kind of timeline you might expect availability for a modern spare for your car. All right, now let's check out the back seat here in the Sentra. It is a smaller car, so we would expect that it's not going to be the biggest back seat in the world. My headroom at 5'10" is not an issue. My legroom at 5'10", also not an issue. But I will say here in the back seat, you're going to find a little bit more of some of that cost cutting. So for example, the rear seat passengers don't have their own vents, which is going to mean on a hotter day or an especially cold day, you might not be as comfortable here in the rear seat. You also have one USB-C port, which is a nice thing to have, but your rear seat passengers are going to have to fight over it. There's also no map pockets on the backs of the seats on either side. And then the door card as well is definitely more of that inexpensive hard plastic. So they definitely spent more time and effort on the front portion of the interior than here in the rear seat. Now, before we wrap things up, let's also take a quick look at a different trim. This is the more luxurious SL. As you can see from the front end of the car, the styling is a little bit different. The color choices are different. It's not the entire front end that's blacked out like it was on the SR. You're not going to have as many of the sporty kind of elements like the little panel that's below the doors and a different color for some contrast. This one, it's got a body color roof, so it's definitely a more mild look from the exterior. It's not, again, as sporty and as out there. You don't have that same exposed exhaust tip that's highlighted at the rear of the car or some of the aero, but what you do get is a very nice interior. This one is a lighter shade, two-tone mixed with a little bit of blue and a little bit of this grayish white. It's a really nice seat material, good looking design, so still going to be very comfortable, but this being a top of the line SL, it's going to get you all of the goodies. So you have a wireless charger, you've got the sunroof, you've got the 360 camera, heated steering wheel, heated seats, all of the nice stuff. And that is why this one comes in closer to $30,000. It's that $27,990 price figure if you want to get into the top of the line SL. It's nice to see that there are still some vehicles out there on the market for less than $30,000 that offer a lot of good features. This is great value. And as far as fuel economy and operating the car every day, you're looking at 29 mpg city, 38 highway, 33 combined is what Nissan is estimating. It's not an official EPA figure yet, but this is a very economical car to buy, to operate. So it's a good idea, good daily driver, comfortable, good all around. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. That's all for this video. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time.